ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलं। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकी शोकनाशनं कपीशमक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करम्। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजा पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। Hare Krishna, everyone. Nice to see all of you again. I have a confession to make. I don't know how to go through this section without making sure that we don't miss anything that is very beautiful and wonderful in one sense. I can sort of tell you the story, but I feel I will miss some really good nuggets of insights. One, because I don't have the Ramayana committed to memory. Someday, by Lord Ramachandra's grace, if possible, but not right now. And if I only read, then it might become a little, I don't know, boring, or people may space out. So with that confusion, I think I'm going to do all of the above. I'm going to narrate a little bit, I'm going to read quite a bit, stop and go. The reason is, I've been hearing different questions on different forums that in Ramayana, one of the most prominent affects or emotions is the shoka. Generally, since we are Bhagavad Gita students, we are used to understanding the word shoka as lamentation. But it has different meanings, okay? And in the context of Ramayana, this shoka actually is often spoken as sorrow or karuna rasa. Sorrow, I like to use the word pathos. It has this very, very deep sense of sadness, loss, pain, agony embedded in it. And it is one of the rasas that one experiences with Lord Ramachandra or the Supreme Lord. And Karuna Rasa actually is very, very important because it's there in Srimad Bhagavatam, it's there in all of our Gaudiya literature, and across different relationships. There is this sense of Karuna or Shoka in Dasya Rasa, in Vatsalya, in Sakhya Ras, in Madhurya Ras, all of it. And all of that is there in Ramayana as well. However, in the Ayodhya Kanda, suddenly it from a very happy state, Valmiki takes us into or introduces this Karuna Rasa in a very severe sort of way. And we will notice that while, yes, on the level of the story, Kaikeyi is behaving in one way, Dasaratha is lamenting definitely in a way or a series of ways. What is important to notice is that how this uh, sense of pathos heightens Dasaratha's meditation and love for Lord Ramachandra, because ultimately that's what is, uh, I guess, pleasing to the Lord, or that's what the Lord wants to evoke in the heart of his devotees. Okay, so keep that in mind. And if I sort of fall into reading something, don't become upset. And if you can, try your best to um, keep your attention. Although I don't think I have at least in this session, less than the previous, the ability to keep your attention. I don't think I have that, just because I'm going to be reading and moving back and forth on this, because there are some shlokas that are just unbelievably heart-wrenching. And I want us to, even from a distance, uh, sort of get a little bit of taste or appreciation for what kind of love Dasaratha Maharaj carries for Lord Ramachandra. Parallelly, what kind of sankalpa Kaikeyi has in fulfilling the Lord's mission. And there are many other sub lessons for us in a day-to-day life. Okay, well, that's the preamble for you. All right, we're going to start with Ayodhya Kanda chapter 9. Manthara has spoken. We discussed that slowly and slowly she has succeeded in poisoning Kaikeyi's mind, that Lord Ramachandra should not be, poisoning her mind that Lord Ramachandra becoming the Prince Regent is not in her best interest. So she decides, Kaikeyi says to Manthara, today I will make sure that Ramachandra is banished and Bharata becomes the king, and I will do it immediately without any delay. So Manthara becomes very delighted. Oh, Kaikeyi, you're amazing. Finally, it has gotten into your head how you can achieve this. Now, let me tell you how you can achieve this. Because if Kaikeyi were to just ask Dasaratha, please make Bharata the king and send Ram away, he would tell her to get lost. So there is a way. There is a way to make sure that Dasaratha cannot refuse. Okay. So she says, I'm going to tell you how this is possible. And she asks him, do you want me to tell you? Or I'm sure you remember this and you're just holding in your mind and you want me to say it. So what do you want me to do? If it pleases you, listen to it from me. So Kaikeyi was lying down on her bed. Remember the phrase, Uttishta mude kim seshe. Oh, get up, you foolish woman. Why are you lying down? So as soon as Kaikeyi determined this, and Manthara is about to tell her the means by which she can achieve her objective, Kaikeyi got up from her bed and she wants to listen to what Manthara has to say. So Manthara began. Kaikeyi, do you remember? Many years ago, there was a war between the Devatas, the demigods, and the demons. And your husband, Dasaratha, was invited along with all the royal saints and sages to go and assist Indra. He took you along with him. Okay, and both of you, along with the retinue of sages and other persons, went in the southern direction of the Dandaka forest to a very famous city called Vaijayanta. And in that city of Vaijayanta was this demon by the name Timidhvaja. And this Timidwaja, whose another name was Shambara, who he got his name as Shambara because he can take on hundreds of different forms, and they could be deceitful. And he was challenging Indra to a battle which even the demigods could not win over. So at that time, in that great battle that your husband was invited to go fight and assist them, something's happened. These Rakshasas, they had certain abilities. They would kill or hurt someone on the battlefield. And those warriors that were wounded, generally when someone is wounded, others, even if it's the enemy side, they may not do anything. But these Rakshasas, they would kill by force even the wounded soldiers or the soldiers who were asleep at night. They would not let them go. So there was no rules for engagement. So in that battle, one time when Dasaratha was fighting with them, he was lying on the battlefield, wounded and unconscious. And these Rakshasas were going to eat him up. At that time, you saved him. You went on a chariot, you to put him on the chariot, and you drove out of the place. So you protected him. Now, another situation in the same battle, on a second situation or occurrence, he was again fallen on the battlefield unconscious, and you protected him, and you saved him and brought him away to a place of safety. So for these two acts of yours that were valiant and generous and loving, your husband promised you two boons. And he said, ask whatever you may want. And you had said, not now, when the time is appropriate. And your husband had told you, it doesn't matter. You can ask anytime you want. Okay? So this is your time, and this is what you should be doing. She says, Chaturdasha hi varshani rame pravrajite vanam. Okay? So if Rama is sent to the forest for 14 years, it gives you and your son Bharata to firmly establish himself as the king and to win the hearts of all the people. Okay? And make Bharata, so this is the two boons you will ask. Make Bharata the king, make coronate Bharata, not Ramachandra, and second, send Ramachandra to the forest for 14 years. So it gives Bharata the space and time to win the hearts of all the people. And the way you can achieve this is if you just ask Dasaratha straight up, you won't get it. So right away, enter into the sulking chamber. In Sanskrit, it's called Krodhagaram. Enter into the chamber. Apparently, in the previous times, when queens were angry, they would not be in the main living quarters, because the main living quarters was designed to be very pleasing, with birds chirping, bards singing songs, everything so wonderfully, fragrantly mystified with perfumes and scents, flowers, very beautiful looking sofas and its furniture. Everything was so wonderfully designed that one could not become angry, one only would be very pleased. So they would have a special room that evokes anger, dark curtains, just everything is dark, just it gives the chance for that anger to very nicely gestate and boil. So she said, go there and you lie down there on the floor without any jewelry, and not just on the floor with a rug or nice Persian carpet, on the bare floor. So she says, Sheshwan Taya Bhumau Malinavasini. Malinavasini means not dressed very nicely, dressed in unclean, disheveled clothes. You lie down on the bare ground. So for me, I highlighted it because First, he comes into the room and says, Uttishta mude kim seshe. Get up, you fool. Why are you lying down? And the solution she gives her is, go lie down on the bare floor and get what you want. And she says, O Kaikeyi, the daughter of Ashwapati, now is the time for you to enter into this uh, sulking chamber, wearing soiled garments and lie down on the bare floor. And immerse yourself in grief and tears. So when Dasaratha comes to speak to you, make sure that you don't talk to him. Okay? And don't even look at him. Don't make any eye contact with him. So there are two reasons. One, don't talk to him, is he will ask you and don't respond. And the less you respond, the more his heart will become agitated. And if you make eye contact with him, then he will be very pleased. So don't make eye contact. Turn your face away from him. So it will agitate his mind and pain his heart even more. That's the intent. Okay. And she says that you are the most beloved wife of Dasaratha. And for your sake, that king will even enter fire and give up his life. So this is how you manipulate him to what you want. And the king, because he is so enamored by you, he will not do anything to make you angry. Okay, he cannot even bear the little bit that you may look indignant. Even if there is a little bit of irritation on your face, he cannot handle it. So he will do anything to please you. And then she tells her, listen, you have a great fortune, saubhagya balam atmanaha. You are gifted by, you're gifted with a very special fortune. And what is that fortune? Kaikeyi's fortune is her beauty. And she can use that beauty to manipulate out of Dasaratha whatever she wants. Okay. And then she wants Kaikeyi, listen, Dasaratha may give you Mani Muktam. Mani Muktam means jewels and pearls. Suvarnani Ratnani, Vividhani cha. He can give you gold and other precious jewels, okay, as gifts. Don't pay any attention to it. Okay, don't get flattered by whatever he gives you. So in one sense, as I'm speaking this, think of na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavita, jagadisha kamaye. Okay, it doesn't matter that what I want cannot be fulfilled or satisfied by anything in this world, including wealth, great following, great words of appeasement. I don't want that. So it's the same verse of determination that, my dear Krishna, I only want your bhakti. Anything else will not satisfy. Same, but just not for pleasure, for one's selfishness. Okay. Then Kaikeyi, here's what you're going to do. You will remind him of the two boons that he offered you. And then when Dasaratha lifts you from the ground, that is your moment to ask him these two boons. Until then, don't speak, don't make eye contact. That is when you tell him, oh, best of the Bharatas, oh, best of the kings, make Bharata the king and send Ramachandra away for 14 years. So twice she says Chaturdashaha hi varshani. Rama pravrajite vanam. She says Chaturdasha twice, 14. Okay. Of course, when it comes to Kaikeyi, please note how Kaikeyi will ask it. Okay. And she says, the moment you ask these two boons, all your interests and your son's interest will be protected. Nothing will go wrong for you. So and she says, if Ramachandra goes away to the forest, he will not be Rama anymore. Evam pravrajitaschaiva Ramo aramo bhavishyati. Rama will become Arama. One who's happy and one who gives others happiness will stop giving others happiness. Bharachascha hatamitrascha Raja bhavishyati. And Bharat will become the king by subduing his enemy. Okay. And why 14 years? Yena kalena ramascha vanat pratyagamishyati. So by the time Lord Ramachandra returns from the forest, tena kalena putraste krutamulo bhavishyati. By the time Lord Ramachandra will come back, your son will be deep rooted in his position by gaining all of the acceptance from other citizens. Sugrahita manushyascha suhut buddhi dharmatmavan. He will become solid. His position will be very solid. Okay, and then she says, now is the proper time for you to ask these boons. All right, Kaikeyi is all determined, and she says, oh my gosh, Manthara, I cannot imagine that how your words, you can even think of such things, that your mind can come up with such a devious plan. I'm amazed at it. Of course, I'm very pleased as well. I never knew that you could speak such excellent words and decide things so intelligently. In fact, you're the best among all the hunchback women in the world. And since you are thinking of my benefit, I am going to do things that are beneficial for you. She says, there are many hunchbacks in this world who seem very ugly. Their bodies seem totally misshaped and crooked. But you look like but your bending like this looks as if a lotus is bent by the breeze. She's telling her, you're suddenly so beautiful looking. And she describes, oh, your body may look disfigured. Your hips may be this way, your back may be that way. But I tell you, in all of this, you look so beautiful. And I promise you that hunch that you have, the hump that you have on your back, I will cover it with gold for you. I'll make a gold-plated humpback for you. And I will decorate your body with all sorts of jewels and drape your body in the most expensive silk cloth. In fact, you will look like a royal female swan. And she says, actually in you reside these thousands of Maya tricks, almost like Shambara, that demon king that Dasaratha killed. You have all those qualities. Your clever thoughts, your magic powers, and the skill of the Kshatriyas are stored in your hump, okay, which is as wide as the hub of a chariot wheel. Okay. Now, she says that in your mind are all these qualities. So in the commentaries, the acharyas say that the mind has 4 different functions, what it can do. And depending upon how it acts, each of those is called differently. So here's the shloka. It says, Smritir Vyatita Vishaya, Matir Agami Gochara, Buddhi Tatatkali Jnaya, Pragya Traikaliki Mata. So the mind has 4 dimensions. First is called Smriti. Smriti means recalling something from the past. Then mati. Mati means ability uh, to think of some things of the future. Buddhi means your ability to think about the present. You're able to consider clearly what's your present situation. And finally, pragya means wisdom. Wisdom is able to see past, present, and future together. So oftentimes we may toggle or shift from smriti to mati. Many times we lose out we're not present, so that buddhi is not functioning, that at the present moment, what is it? We sort of shift into past or future, right? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, one who's not worried about or lamenting about the past or hankering for the future. And finally, pragya means one who can look at the past, present, and future and consider different options, everything collectively at the same time. Such a person is called pragya. And Krishna says, sthita pragya. That's why Arjuna wants to know, can you please describe to me a person who's called sthita pragya? What does the person look like? How do they speak? How do they sit? How do they walk, etc.? So the entire section in chapter 2, Sthita Pragya, means the person of such ability. All right. She says, oh Manthara, with Rama gone to the forest, Bharata on the throne, I will drape your hump with a golden garland. And Manthara becomes, oh, very, very happy. So with this decided, she says, I'll make a tilaka made of gold for you. Your lovely face will be decorated by all sorts of ornaments, and you'll move around here and there as if you're a demigoddess. And nobody will compare to you in your beauty and your opulence. In fact, you will become the queen of all the hunchbacks. So flattered by Kaikeyi, Manthara then tells her, okay, quickly go back into the sulking chamber and get ready. So that beautiful Kaikeyi, who has large, beautiful eyes, she was puffed with pride of her intoxicating beauty, encouraged by the words of Manthara, entered the sulking chambers. She took off all her jewelry, okay, and she took off this pearl necklace that was worth hundreds of thousands of gold coins. She took out all her costly garments and other ornaments, earrings, whatever they called keyura, that's they put to their arms, her bangles, her rings, her nose ring, necklaces, the belt that she wore around her waist, her anklets, toe rings, everything. She even took out her nail polish with nail polish remover, all of that, and wore some really shattered night clothes, I guess. In India, it's called nightie. She wore her nightie and fell on the floor, bare floor. And at this time, then King Dasaratha and she tells Manthara, I have determined that whatever happens today, it's either this thing or I die. Either I get what I want or I give up my life. Yeah, this king will not be able to have another choice. He cannot come up with any alternative. With that decision, she lay down on the bare floor. So then, Dasaratha Maharaj, the scene changes to Dasaratha Maharaj. This is chapter 10. After giving all the instructions for Lord Ramachandra's coronation, um, Dasaratha very hurriedly, because it's the end of the day, and end of the day is when he comes to visit Kaikeyi, and he spends the nights with her. So he is fully surcharged with the lust, the anticipation of uniting with her this evening. So he's like a maddened elephant, completely charged up with anticipating that this is how I'm going to spend my evening with Kaikeyi. And at the same time, he's also very happy in his heart, and he wants to tell her the news that Ramachandra will be the Prince Regent. Interestingly, he doesn't go to Kausalya to tell her. He goes to Kaikeyi, because she is the one with whom he spends all his evenings. So he's more interested in telling Kaikeyi. All right. So then, here is where King Dasaratha starts to visit. Now, as this king, with both mind agitated by lust, or heart, more importantly, heart fully agitated by lust and happiness of the upcoming event, walks into Kaikeyi's palace. And this is how her palace was. Her inner apartments were so prosperous. They were filled with parrots and peacocks. We've been to Gitanagari, and throughout the day you hear the peacocks just cooing. And if you've been to Vrindavan, from morning till evening, wherever you're walking, you're hearing the parrots constantly chirping. So that is how her inner chambers were. And there were croucher birds and swans constantly flapping their wings and swimming in the waters here and there. And there were sounds of musical instruments with great musicians singing and evoking the mood of conjugal feelings. The whole palace and inner chambers were fully decorated with creepers, trees of champaka and ashoka, and the walls were decorated with beautiful pictures. The rooms were filled with, there was wafting with the fragrance of very, very special natural and organic fragrances. The sofas, the furniture, everything was made with ivory and gold, and very, very shining and beautiful surfaces made with marble, and swimming pools, trees with flowers and birds and everything. And constant flow of varieties of foods, drinkable, potable beverages, etc. They were very easy. It almost resembled heaven. But in all of this heaven, one thing was missing: Kaikeyi. So when Dasaratha walked into this fantastic environment that is surcharged, he could not see Kaikeyi. So he's frantically searching for Kaikeyi. He's charged with passion. So the verse says, Kama balam samyuktaha. Samyukta means endowed with or fully empowered with. Kama balam, the strength of lust. He wanted this carnal pleasure from her. So he came and he started feeling dejected that he cannot see Kaikeyi. So he's searching for her. He goes from this room to that room, but he can't find Kaikeyi. And he's astonished that every day for years and years and years, as soon as he would enter the chambers of Kaikeyi, she would be there ready for him, dressed so nicely, decorated with flowers and ornaments, smelling ever so beautiful, with arms stretched out to embrace him, but she's not there anymore. So he's aggrieved. He's looking for her. So think of it this way: when a person's lust is so heightened, when they don't meet their object of lust or love, they become agitated. So then in that, he's now searching for her everywhere. And he's not sure, is she trying to play with me? Has something happened to her? Where is she? Where is she? And so he finds one attendant, a woman, who bows down to the king and says, uh, he asks her, where is Kaikeyi? And she says, oh, my dear king, I'm sorry to inform you, Kaikeyi is in the sulking chamber. So hearing these words of the doorkeeper, the king is unable to fathom, why is she in the sulking chambers? What's wrong? And then he decides, whatever it is, let me just uh, relieve her of all of this. Mhm. And so when he walks in, he is completely shattered to see the whole room is dark. Kaikeyi has tied her hair. Usually in movies, they show her hair all disheveled. No, actually, she ties her hair in one bunch. It's called Ekaveni. This is, if you care. Generally, women braid their hair using 3 braids. It's called Triveni. Ekaveni is like a ponytail, I guess. And that is not considered auspicious. Actually, a woman has a Ekaveni when she's separated from her husband. Later in Sundara Kanda, Hanuman from the Shimshupa tree sees Sita Devi, who takes her Ekaveni, hair bundled as one strand, not braided, as one braid only, and uses that to use as a noose for herself. So he's like, what is going on? He also is consumed by grief. And then here is the verse that describes how Kaikeyi is. Okay. He sees her like this. This old king, because Dasaratha is very aged, Kaikeyi is very young and youthful. This old king who sees his very youthful wife, who was dearer to him than his own life, filled with deceitful intentions. She looked like a severed creeper, like a goddess fallen down, like a kinnari who's been abandoned, like an apsara who has fallen from heaven, like an illusion that has been removed, and like a female deer that has been tied down by a hunter's net. I can give you the Sanskrit. These are very nice words here. Latam eva vinishkruta, patitam devatam avi, kinnarim eva nirdhutam, chutam apsarasam yatha, mayami paribhrashta, harinim eva samyatat. Samyatat. Okay, so these are the different, I guess, metaphors used. So these metaphors mean something. Kaikeyi is compared to a creeper that has been cut down to indicate that she was not standing or taking the shelter of a wall or something. She was fallen on the ground. To a demigoddess that has fallen means that her situation brought about astonishment in Dasaratha's heart. How can a demigod or a demigoddess fall onto the earth? A kinnari who has been abandoned means it evoked compassion in Dasaratha's heart. He wanted to be merciful to her, that whatever is her agitation, he wants to relieve her of it. An apsara that has fallen from the sky or fallen to the earthly realm means cursed. To that, that means that she was worthy of being seen. He should not neglect the situation. He should not neglect her, but address what she needs. Okay, and And they said a deer captured in the net means she was motionless. She was just on the floor and not showing any symptoms of movement. So at that time, Dasaratha was out of his wits. Now, on a separate point, in Harinam Chintamani commentary, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that there are two types of what we call Yoshit Sangi. We are asked, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Haridas Thakur in their conversation, they say that one should give up the company of Yoshit Sangis. Yoshit Sangi means company of those who are overly enamored by and always want to associate with women. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that there are two such types of Yoshit Sangis. And this is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary. He says, Avaidha Stri Sangi evam vidha stri sambandhe straina purusha e dui prakara Yoshit Sangi. There are two types. One, a man who sinfully associates with women. So he has this sinful desires in his mind in all of his association with women that he has no business with. And second is a man who is sinless but associates with his wife in a very henpecked way. So a henpecked husband and a man with a lusty desire of enjoying the company of other women. Both are considered Yoshit Sangi. So in this case, Dasaratha Maharaj has become like that. So what he does, some verses are just beautiful. So I have to recite them for you. He says, Karenum iva digdhena vridham mrigaya yunavane mahagaja ivarnaye snehat parimarshatam. Karenum iva digdhena. So with his hands, he slowly lifted Kaikeyi. And with his hand, he caressed her hair, just as a he-elephant caresses the she-elephant. Of course, they're pachyderms, but apparently the he-elephant caresses the she-elephant in a very loving, gentle way. Okay? And this mind, completely agitated, yet terrified, he looked at his lotus-eyed wife and said, "Oh, auspicious queen, I don't know if your anger is directed towards me. In fact, I don't know what is the cause of your anger. By whom have you been disrespected or offended? And why are you lying in the dust? Tell me, this is causing me great sorrow. And while I am so favorably disposed towards you, why are you lying down on the floor like someone who's possessed by an evil spirit? Why are you afflicting my mind like this? I've never seen you like this. Is your health not okay? If your health is not okay, tell me. I will get the best of doctors to come and address your situation." And he says, "Santi me kulasha vaidyastava sarvashah sukhitam tvam karishyanti vyadhamischashva bhamini." Oh, bhamini means one who completely takes away. You sweep me off my feet, bhamini. Is your health not okay? Then I will immediately call all the doctors, expert in all fields of medicine, to take care of you. Is that not the case? Is something else bothering you? Kasya va te priyam karyam, kena va vipriyam kritam. You tell me, do you want to bestow someone a favor? Or do you want to cause someone some displeasure? Kah priyam labhatam adya kova suhamad priyam. Tell me, You want me to punish somebody? I will do it. You want me to just gift someone with all sorts of wealth? Tell me, whatever you want. So the reason I'm reading these verses is, in the previous verse, he was called Mahitale, Bhupati, the king of the entire planet Earth. But when he comes to his wife, he is now so much like a little toy in her hands. And what is the treatment he's getting? Silent treatment. And he's unable to manage it. So now, as a henpecked husband, is asking her, you tell me, you want me to change someone's fate? Suddenly you want me to punish somebody? I'll punish. You want me to bestow some great favor on someone? Just say it. Here, next one. Ma rodmi, ma cha karishtam devi, samparishoshanam. Avadhyo vyadhatam kova, kova vadhyo vimuchatam. You tell me, don't cry. Kaikeyi, don't cry. Just tell me. Do you want me to just behead somebody right now? Somebody who's completely innocent, but you tell me, kill that person, I will kill him. Or here is someone who should be given death penalty, and you tell me, release him. Then vimuchatam, I will release immediately. Or you want me to change someone's fate? Daridraha ko bhavatyo adyo, dravyavanya apikinchinaha. Daridraha, if someone who is completely impoverished, you want me to make that person a rich man? Done. Or someone is very rich, you want me to make them akinchana, completely poor, impoverished, and daridra right now? Done. Tell me. Whatever you say, your word is my command. Just don't cry. Okay? I cannot bear your tears. Okay? And you don't have to do all this to say what you want. I am completely under your control. All you have to do is just indicate what you want. And here is where is the icing on the henpecked cake. Karishyami tava pritim sukrutenapi te shape. Te shape, I promise to you. Karishyami tava pritim, whatever you like, I will do. And I have the strength on Sukrutenapi, my merit as a king, as a righteous, honest, dharmic king. I have a lot of pious credit. I will use all of them to fulfill whatever you like. And then he says, I don't know what you want. My authority extends to any direction you want to see, as far as your eye can see, or as far as where the horizon and the land meet. It's all mine. You ask whatever you want. Okay? And he gives the list of the regions that he owns. He says, I have this entire space of mine. You want something from Sindhu, Sauvira, Saurashtra, Dakshina, southern regions, Banga, Anga, Magadha, Matsya, Kashi, Koshala. Ask whatever you want. Okay? So when I was reading this, tongue in cheek, it's almost like Dasaratha Maharaj is reciting the Indian anthem. Punjab, Sindhu, Gujarat, Maratha, Dravida, Utkala, Banga. All those are listed. So when he says Sindhu, Sindhu means the land of Sindh, which is now in Pakistan. That is all his kingdom. Sauvira. Sauvira is the southwest region of Punjab in today's Pakistan. Then he says Saurashtra. Saurashtra is the entire region of Gujarat. Then he says, Gujarat, Maharashtra, all of that is Saurashtra. Dakshinatya, the entire southern part of India, Kerala, Andhra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, all of that. Then he says, Vanga. Vanga and Anga are two areas which became Banga, which is Bangladesh. or Bengal. So Utkala Banga, the Odisha and Bengal region. You want anything from there, or you want that whole place, it's yours. Magadha. Magadha is the west central region of Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. Matsya region, Rajasthan. Kashi, which is we call Varanasi or Banaras. And he says, or Koshala kingdom. Anything that is surrounding Ayodhya, whatever you want from here, it's yours. You tell me. Okay, you don't want land, you want wealth and food grains. You ask how many diamonds, gold coins, silver, whatever you want. Ask of it. You want food grains, wheat, barley, whatever grows in these lands, they're all yours. Sheep, goats, elephants, horses, whatever it is yours. Just to appease his wife because she seems angry, this Prabhuji is just going on and on and on trying to appease his wife who is angry. And he says, please tell me, Kaikeyi, what is the cause of your distress? I will dispel it just the way the sun dispels the mist. So finally, after saying all this, Kaikeyi, she breathed a sigh of relief. And intending to tell him this unpleasant thing which was in her mind, she began tormenting her husband even more. Okay, so then Dasaratha Maharaj, who's been tormented by the darts of Kamadeva and completely taken over by passion, Kaikeyi spoke these heart-shattering words. She says, "O king, I have neither been offended by you or disregarded by anyone. But I have one purpose which you should fulfill." Okay, what is that? She says, "Pratigyam pratijanishva yadi tvam kartumicchasi athatvaddaya aham arishyami yad bhi praptitham maya." Oh, my king, my dear king, you have made some promise, and if you so desire, you can fulfill my promise, and I will tell you what it is. So please see the use of the phrase, if you so desire. Yadi tvam kartum ichchasi. It caught my attention because we use this phrase, I shouldn't say we, possibly a conditioned soul uses the phrase, if you so desire, in a very manipulative way with Krishna. When we pray to Krishna or Ramachandra, our heart wants a particular outcome. But we have been taught that we should say, if you so desire. But she is using the if you so desire in a way that is going to make Dasaratha helpless. Of course, the Supreme Lord is not helpless. But the lesson here is that our if you so desire should mean primarily that Krishna, if you genuinely desire, which means if you don't fulfill it, I'm totally okay with it. But not to be used as if you so desire as a way that, Krishna, if you so desire, but if you don't fulfill what I'm asking you for, then I will be broken-hearted, I'll be mental about it, whatever. So one should be careful how we use the if you so desire phrase in approaching Sri Sitaram or Kishore Kishori. So when she said like that, the king gently picked her up, caressed her hair. With a bright smile, he said, "Ho, ho, come on, Kaikeyi. You know, there is no woman dearer to me than you, and no man dearer to me than Lord Ramachandra." Okay. So, I swear in the name of Sri Ramachandra, who's the best among all human beings, tell me whatever you want, I will fulfill it. In fact, in the name of Sri Ramachandra, without whom If I don't see him, I cannot live for a moment. I swear that I will fulfill your desire. O Kaikeyi, even at the expense of my own life or the life of all my other sons, I swear in Ramachandra's name that I will fulfill your desire. Now tell me quickly, my heart is sinking because you have to deliver me of this distress, because I've never seen you like this. Tell me, what is it that you're thinking about? So then, Kaikeyi had a premeditated wish, and she was determined to get what she wants, spoke the following. And what she was about to say, as she was about to speak, it is said that her dreadful wish entered her mind like how death suddenly visits somebody, which means very like that. She didn't even sugarcoat or say anything. So she says, listen, my dear king, you're repeatedly swearing to grant me these boons, but that's not enough. Let the 33 gods, when she says 33, it actually means 33 million. Let the 33 million gods bear witness that you have said that you will fulfill my promise. Okay? The sun, the moon, night, day, the stars, the directions, the Gandharvas, the Rakshasas, all the deities in the houses, whoever that is, they're all bearing witness. Then she addresses all the witnesses and she says, oh, witnesses, remember, please record it for future, that Dasaratha, who is considered the greatest of persons, is making this promise. Satya Sandho, he is Satyavak, he's truthful. Mahateja, very, very effulgent and greatly renowned. Dharmagya, he knows what is dharma. Susamahita, he is fully endowed with these qualities. Varam mama dadatyesha tanme shrunvantu daivataha. Oh demigods, please listen. He is making this promise. So holding on to King Dasaratha and flattering him with these words, the queen said, Dashrath Maharaj, can you recall an event that happened long ago in the war between the demigods and the demons, where the enemy had destroyed all your forces except your life? At that time, I rescued you from that situation. And since I was alert to protect you, you gave me 2 boons. And my dear king, I was very honest in keeping those promises, waiting and holding it, that I had reserved it. I had deposited those boons. And now is the time for me to cash in on it. Okay? And if you don't fulfill it, I will give up my life right away. Now, for Dasaratha Maharaj to hear that Kaikeyi will give up her life is more painful than anything else. So the king came completely under the trap of Kaikeyi, just as a deer jumps into a trap of a hunter for its own destruction. So the king was waiting, and Kaikeyi says, Abhisheka Samarambhe Raghavasyopakalpitaha Anenaiva Abhishekena Bharato me Abhishishyatam. All the paraphernalia for the coronation of Ramachandra that you have collected, I would like Bharata to be coronated instead. Okay? All these preparations have been made. Okay? Then she said, then in the war between the demigods and demons, you promised me a second boon, and now is the time for you to fulfill that boon. So this is my second uh, request. Not request, you're fulfilling the boon. Second one, Nava Panchacha Varshani Dandakaranyamashritah Chira Jina Jatadhari Ramo Bhavatu Tapasaha. She didn't say Chaturdasha because that'll be too much for the king to handle. So she says Nava Panchacha Varshani. Nava is 9. Panchacha means and 5. To break 14 down to a very comfortable sounding number. Because he just now said, I cannot live for a moment without seeing Lord Ramachandra or being without him. So if she said 14, the king would die immediately. And if he died, then he cannot give the order for Bharata to be crowned. So she very, very carefully said 9 and 5. This is the Bata shoe pricing methodology. Or even in America, they use the pricing method, $2.99. They don't say $3. They say $2.99 because it sounds cheaper. $2.99. Most people say, oh, $2.99. Most people don't think 3 or $14.99, not 15, or $9.99. Because at the moment you say 10, it's 2 numbers. It's a double digit number. When you say $9.99, it's still a smaller number. It's easy to digest than saying 14. So she says Nava Panchacha Varshani Dandakaranyam Ashrataha. We should go there. And how should he go? Chira Jina Jatadhari. Chira Jina means wearing tree bark or clothes made out of tree bark. Jatadhari. Tie his hair up as Jata. Ramo Bhavatu Tapasaha. I should go in as a ascetic. Now, let Bharata be the king without any rival. This is my great desire. I'm not asking something out of the blue. These are promises you made for me. I'm just asking, and I want Ramachandra to leave for the forest today itself. So for Dasaratha Maharaj, well, let me check time. Oh, 11:05. My gosh. I was going to tell you chapter 12, but we'll pause. Because in chapter 12, Dasaratha is now going to answer back. One, and whenever we get to this chapter, I want you to observe that one, he just mumbles stuff that doesn't make coherent meaning. Second, he can't believe his ears at all. So he just faints, and after a long period gets up and he thinks it's a dream. Or he thinks that this is just sort of indigestion, something that has happened. Or he thinks it's some illusion, etc., etc. And then he chastises her, he begs her, he glorifies her in a way that she will change her mind. That's the entire chapter 12, which we're not going to do now. I didn't realize it's already 11 o'clock. So let me pause here. We have done chapter 9, 10, and 11. Any questions, comments, thoughts? Is this narration okay? Do you want me to just narrate the story or should I get into the verses?
Verses is good, Prabhu.
Okay.
Verses is good, Prabhu.
Whatever Paramatma says.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Shyamukundas here.
Yes, Shamkar.
I have like 3 questions. The first one here.
And you should have the answers also, Shamkar. Okay.
No. Prabhu, so Dasaratha Maharaj, let's say we compare it with Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
We hear that Arjuna temporarily, whatever happened, that he was confused about his duty, etc. That was a temporary event instigated by the Supreme Lord so that Bhagavad Gita could be given to us. So that was like, say, 45 minutes, 1 hour, something happened. That's okay. But on the other hand, we are seeing here Dasaratha Maharaj, an intimate devotee of the Supreme Lord, an eternally liberated soul. Day after day, year after year, he is yearning, like impelled by lust, as you described today. He's yearning to meet Kaikeyi in the evening and satisfy his conjugal desires, etc. How do we process this, especially in the light that he's an eternally liberated devotee, or he's on one hand, he is saying that I cannot live without Rama, but then why does he need this association of Kaikeyi? That's the first question, Prabhu.
Okay, let's answer one at a time. Okay. So first, this is Treta Yuga. Okay. In Treta Yuga, all the legs of religiosity are fairly okay. One may have gone, right? So it's not like Dasaratha Maharaj sits down in front of the deities and takes a promise: no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. He never made that promise. In Kali Yuga, we do. So that's one. Different context of time. Second, Dasaratha Maharaj is not a Vaidhi sadhana bhakta where he has to live by severe rules, because otherwise he will just completely break them left and right. This is a dharmic king who's free from sinful tendency, but he's a king nevertheless, a kshatriya. And kshatriyas, just the way they're allowed meat eating, they're allowed certain luxuries, if you will, within the domain of piety. It's okay. It's given to the kings. So he's not violating a religious principle here at all.
Just, I mean, it's my question is like, it's not just about violating religious principle, but the Ananya Bhakti that we hear in the Bhagavad Gita, isn't that compromised? It's not just about the rules and regulations.
His Ananya
Shouldn't a
Bhakti is
person
not
have a
compromised.
distaste for matter?
Dharma aviruddha kamosmi. So where is the dharma viruddha?
But like,
Krishna
say for
said,
example,
Dharma
like,
aviruddha kamosmi. So there is no violation of that. Dharma.
okay.
Yukta ahara
Let's say if we take
viharasya.
this,
It's regulated for him. He's a king. He's an emperor of the planet. He's not going to live in celibacy the way we understand celibacy. It's not meant for him. Is your question that if he's so enamored by Kaikeyi, is his love for Ramachandra any diluted? Is that the question?
sort of similar, like more like what we hear from Prabhupada's books, like Yamunacharya's statement. The moment, the very thought of all these sexual activities makes me spit. That is
when
the
Yamunacharya became a sannyasi, then he says, Yadavadhi mama cheta Krishna padaravinde nava nava rasa dhamnu rantum asit. As a sannyasi he is speaking. Tadavadhi mama nari bata sangame smaryamane bhavati mukha vikara shushtu nishtivanam cha. As a sannyasi he is speaking it. But as a king, for him to engage with Kaikeyi for Dasaratha is not a violation of his dharma. Now, here is the commentary by my mind is racing for answering your question. So let me answer it and I'll tell you whose commentary it is. Govindacharya, Govindaraja. The commentary says, just see, okay, he is so unbelievably enamored by conjugal feelings for Kaikeyi, and in those feelings he's taking the name of Ramachandra, that he's remembering Ramachandra. Because when you're in the mood of conjugal, I'm going to make a little joke of it, so for the moment, when somebody is in this conjugal spirit, you take the name of some mother-in-law or somebody here, it sort of spoils the mood. Even Dasaratha Maharaj, who's so enamored by Kaikeyi, is still remembering Ramachandra. So that means his bhakti is very strongly intact. It's not diluted.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. That helps. Second thing, here in the narration that's ongoing, it seems like Dasharatha is going to give a lot of emphasis to, and even Kaikeyi, she's giving a lot of emphasis to holding on to one's word,
Yes.
being truthful, etc. But there is also the other part of his responsibility in that he has to take care of Kaushalya and the other queens too. And he was very biased towards this one queen. So
Right.
isn't this like giving preference to one attribute and not taking care of the others? You could have as well let go of the truth and do the other things. Isn't
True.
that the...
That is correct. So it's a very, very delicate situation that he's unable to balance at this point. He's a righteous king. He has unbelievable blind love on Kaikeyi. In fact, to talk about Ramachandra's coronation, he didn't go to Kaushalya, he went to Kaikeyi's palace. And in chapter 12, he was going to say, hey, what about Bharata? What about Lakshmana, Shatrughna, Kaushalya? What will I tell Kaushalya? What will I tell Sumitra? What will I tell all the sages who will ask me? What, like they say in Hindi, kya muh dikhaunga main kisi ko? With what face can I stand in front of them? Because you are putting in a pan scale my love for you and the words that I've given, the promise that I've made to you, to conflict directly with my role as a king. And part of my dharma is to stand truthful to my words. Now I'm severely conflicted. On the one hand, because he had already said, Shape, I promise you. So a king's entire dharma stands on being truthful. Because if he's not truthful, all other qualities don't have any meaning. So he's severely conflicted, like we find ourselves.
Yeah.
May not be in similar conflicts. In our, I shouldn't say in our, in my case, sorry, I keep saying our as if, I'm sorry. In my case, my two bad qualities conflict. In his case, his two great qualities are conflicting. Truthfulness and the word to be done as a king. So now you step back from all of it. And if you think of it from a pastime perspective, Lord Ramachandra is expert that he will put his devotees in situations that will cause some distress. And one may wonder, I have not done anything wrong. I have not offended any devotees. Yet I find myself in such a tight spot with all sorts of conflicts in my heart, and I don't know how to resolve them. That's from a pastime perspective. From a rasa perspective, his sense of love or the fear of separation from Lord Ramachandra is becoming heightened. And it is becoming heightened to such a degree that he cannot think anything but Lord Ramachandra. So all of these emotions that are happening below that, you'll find in 12th chapter, they don't make any rational sense. He says this, then he says that, then he pleads with her, then he begs her, then he gets angry, he curses her. All of that is this severe agitation just from the fear of separation from Lord Ramachandra. So many things are happening at different levels. As a normal human being or a husband, we are being taught, just the way we were taught by Dharmaraj, that one should not gamble. Here is being taught that one should not become such a toy in the hands of their yeah. That one should not become a toy in the hands of their spouse. In this case, specifically his wife. One should not become like that, because the ability to follow dharma becomes compromised severely. And this question of yours, doesn't he have a duty towards Kausalya, Sumitra, and the other citizens, is a point that Lakshmana will bring up later, and Lord Ramachandra will answer at that time. So you wait till that comes up.
And the third thing, Prabhu. So here we see one.
Oh, hold on. Before you go to third thing, I just spoke and spoke and spoke. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, Prabhu. I like what came from your heart. A third thing, which more from your wisdom that I'd like to pick it from. We see here on one hand the perils of being a henpecked husband. And in the world we see either there are men who are too dominating, or there are the ladies who are too dominating in a household. There are both cases. Both of them don't know how to come out of the situation. From your experience, what would you suggest for people to identify that, hey, this is not the right balance in a family situation? And what steps to take? What would be your suggestion?
Wow, that's a whole seminar in itself. Being henpecked means a husband doesn't have the ability to express his own contemplations or desires or thought processes. Or being a dominating husband implies that a wife is treated as not an equal partner but someone less. And either is not healthy for a strong grahastha life. When you say equal, in that equal, there are situations where the wife will take the position higher, and sometimes the husband will take the position higher. But in general, there is an equilibrium. That's what it means. In the next few verses, the next chapter, Dasaratha Maharaj will glorify Kausalya. That I have neglected her. She is like a great friend to me. She has acted like my mother. She has acted like a sister for me, meaning with well wishes. As a mother, protecting. As a wife, being there as an equal partner, and as a well wisher. She has played all these roles, and I've neglected her. So sometimes the wife will have wisdom on a situation that a husband may not have. And it's perfectly okay for the wife to give her opinion, and so as long as it's seen as a partnership. The issue is not then of dealing with the circumstance, then it becomes an ego. Why should my wife advise me? There's no, if one has those kinds of petty egotistical considerations, then that partnership is doomed. Then the focus goes away from what they have to deal with to the interpersonal issues. Now, how to get out of it? Somebody outside that unit needs to shake them up a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
All right, any other? Haribol.
This is Radha.
I know. You have any husband-wife questions, Radha?
No. When Mantra was trying to poison Kaikeyi's mind, she said that Dasaratha has betrayed you. He likes Kausalya more. And then when Kaikeyi succumbed to Mantra's words, Mantra said to Kaikeyi, Mantra was directing Kaikeyi how to manipulate her Dasaratha. And Mantra said that Dasaratha will do anything for you since Kaikeyi is his favorite wife. But didn't she say that uh, that Dasaratha likes Kaikeyi more? So why? I mean, Kausalya more. So why did he say that Dasaratha likes Kaikeyi more after?
I'm sorry, I forgot who likes who more now. Atulya, help me out.
So she's saying, Prabhu, earlier Mantra said that Dasaratha likes Kaushalya more, but then later on she said that he likes you the most. So there's a change in her, like how to understand her own. She's conflicting her own self basically. Mantra.
Okay, so it depends. This is the famous poisoned words of a two-timer or a double-faced person. First, that's one. Second, Mantra is manipulating Kaikeyi. She says, he says you are his favorite queen, but actually Kausalya is. So she's giving her the facts of the situation. Actually, it's Kausalya, because he comes to you, speaks all these nice words to you, but guess who's getting the kingdom? Kausalya and Kausalya's son. That's to inject envy into the heart. Then she turns it around and says, well, Dasaratha says you are his favorite queen, right? Then if you are his favorite queen, you ask for what you want and he will not say no. Use Dasaratha's words against himself. So there's no contradiction. It just, where it's a relative, where depending upon where she's standing and what reference point she takes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Haribol.
So is Param Karan Das. So Prabhu, when you, it's a very, question is that when you said that Dasaratha has a lust in his mind, and then you said that no, lust in his heart. So I was confused how the lust can be in the heart.
Where should it be?
Mind.
Okay, mind it is. According to Bhagavad Gita, lust resides in the senses, the mind, the intelligence, right?
Yes, I was thinking the same.
So the mind is not here, mind is, often it is said the mind is here, the region of the heart is where the soul is, where the brain is. The mind is here. We went through this. Wherever, if I say mind or heart, generally we use them as synonym, meaning the same. But the idea is that is he was heart. Well, when the mind is agitated with lustful feelings, Cupid shoots an arrow where? Here or here? In the heart.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Haribol.
I have two questions, Prabhuji. One is Dasaratha, he was very righteous king, and the promises that he made were very unfair. He said, those who should be rewarded, I can punish him, and those who has to be punished, I will reward them. So
Correct.
I was wondering how he made unfair promises. And the second question is...
not unfair. He is the king. So king is considered to be as independent as the Supreme Lord. Not in terms of philosophically, but in general, the king is considered to be as independent as the Supreme Lord. So when you've seen in movies and other places, if the king becomes upset, he can get someone's head chopped off. And if he's happy with somebody, they get gifted whatever you want, land, palaces, take it away. So in terms of showing affection, they are at this extreme. And in terms of showing disfavor, they're at this extreme. Why are extremes there? Because the kings are influenced by Rajoguna. That's why they're called Raja, because they are influenced by Raja. Raja is passion. Passion is living in extremes.
Okay, Prabhuji. And my
And
other,
for his queen, he's saying, whatever you want, my dear queen. So a leader, the one lesson is a person who is either a leader, and everyone is a leader in some way or the other. In order to show favor to one person, can make or can compromise themselves in the ability to show equitability or fairness to everyone else. You're right. Your question is very thoughtful. By making such promises, Dasaratha is showing how a fair and equitable king can move from the middle of the road to a very dangerous position. That will put the entire Ayodhya in complete distress just for one queen.
thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah. And my other question is, Janaka Maharaj was considered Mahajana, one of the Mahajana, but Dasaratha is not considered because of these reasons.
I don't know. I don't know.
And my other question is, why did Kaikeyi go to battlefield with Dasaratha?
He took her.
Okay.
Same
So
way
women-
that women generally don't go, but he took her.
Okay.
Lord Krishna took Satyabhama to meet Indra.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
And when the Parijata tree was not given, then with Satyabhama on the chariot, Krishna fought with Indra. When Krishna kidnapped Rukmini, she was in the chariot when he was fighting with Rukmi. So sometimes it is possible that the king can take his queen. He went on a mission, like sometimes people go on an official trip. And when they're going to an official trip, they take their wife also. She may not have been on the battlefield while he was fighting, but when he was unconscious, she came and took him away from there.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So one more lesson before another question. The very first verse of Bhagavad Gita starts with Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamakah Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. And the commentators say that the entire outcome of Bhagavad Gita, the war, was already decided in that first verse when Dhritarashtra said, Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva. As soon as I have this view of mine and not mine, my and others, friends and enemies, the whole outcome is destroyed for whatever I want. It was already determined that the Kauravas will lose the war because Dhritarashtra said, Mamaka Pandavaschaiva. Similarly, in Ramayana, until now, Ramachandra was more dear or dearer to Kaikeyi than Bharata. And immediately she says, my son Bharata and Rama should go to the forest. Same, exactly like in Mahabharata war, Kurukshetra war. Here Kaikeyi is saying, mine, my friend, and not my friend. Okay, next question, comment.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, on the point you brought up about we have a tendency to make these prayers to Krishna with the phrase, if you so desire,
Yeah.
Where we're primarily actually, manipulating that phrase.
Correct.
A question arose for me. So, there was a point when I used to use that phrase in my prayers, and then I realized it was just too phony because except a few desires in the heart that are somewhat devotional, most of them are materialistic and from a viewpoint of making my life comfortable. That's important to me, keeping my life comfortable.
Sure.
And so I just switched to prayers that don't have that phrase. And I try to be honest about this is what I would like Krishna. And yet I wonder, how will I get to the stage of, if you so desire, if, I've just changed the content of my prayers? Because we also hear that, if we just pay obeisances, we'll feel humble. If we just, do the externals, it helps us to internally cultivate that mood.
Yes. So that phrase is yadi tvam kartum ichchasi. The phrase, the shloka that we are familiar with, akamaha sarvakamova mokshakama udaradhi. Akama sarvakamova. So coming in front of our deities and offering a prayer saying, I am in this situation and I am very afraid of what the outcome might be. I would really like this outcome, which is whatever, comfortable, safe, or secure, because my dear Krishna, I don't have the strength in my heart to say whatever you desire. I don't have that. But my honest prayer is that if whatever I have gets shaken up, then whatever little love and service that I'm offering you, even that will get challenged for me. So nothing wrong in being honest and straightforward. It's very pleasing to the Supreme Lord, very pleasing. The question is how to get to the place of yadi tvam kartum ichchasi. So don't say what if you so desire for the big issues. Take the small ones. Start somewhere. Small ones where we're okay even if the outcome doesn't come the way I want it to be. Start there. Or let's start there. Not that you start there. Let's start there. Small things where it's a little easier to give in if the outcome is not the way we like. So before someone can lift dead weights, you start with smaller weights. And that's easy to handle. And then as that, you heard I guess popular or more familiar phraseology, that you start small and exercise whatever muscle seems weak, and slowly that muscle gets stronger. So that the next level of yadi tvam kartum ichchasi, we can manage until as the weight keeps on increasing. And our ability to exercise with that strong muscle also increases. So we can practice with this easier ones. Does that address your concern or question?
Yes. My husband is suggesting that I can start with saying to him, whatever you so desire, that's the way to start small. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah. Great word spoken.
Sadhu.
Yeah, sadhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
My name is Vibhu Chaitanya.
Your name is Vibhu Chaitanya?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hi, okay.
So, Prabhu, that what did Ramachandra do that mantra told him to go to the forest?
Nothing. I mean, there are other commentaries outside of Valmiki commentary that said, when he was a young child, he had, one version says he had shot an arrow to displace some ornament on her hump. Someone said that he had thrown mud balls on her hump to sort of tease her when he was younger. Besides all of that, that is different commentators giving us insights, which is nice to know. But from Valmiki Maharshi intentionally doesn't give certain insights, because the job there is to awaken a sense of pathos, is what I like to call sorrow in the heart. that, my gosh, look at the injustice. Look at all, it's a drama that's unfolding. So it happens that sometimes when a person has a very selfish desire to fulfill, that desire comes with, in English, it's called collateral damage. That others also get affected deeply in a negative way that we may not have intended, but they get infected. Of course, in this case, Kaikeyi intended it very clearly, but there was no fault in Ramachandra.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Hare-
Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mataji, please go. Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This is Atulya Devidasi.
Yeah.
Prabhu, I was comparing like the parents of Krishna, like Nand Maharaj, Yashoda Mai. They are considered to be, Nitya Siddha devotees, the spiritual personalities, pure devotees. And then here in the avatar as Lord Rama, seems like Dasaratha is a, kind of a mixed into our, into the modes of nature, or seems like little impurities in him. So how, in the spiritual realm of Ayodhya, does he, like, what is his position, and how do you compare the spiritual, planets and the parents of these two avatars, Krishna and Lord Rama?
Dasaratha Maharaj is a pure devotee. Okay. Without purity, Lord Ramachandra taking birth in that family is not possible. Like we hear, without Vasudeva state of mind, Vasudeva will not appear. So Dasaratha Maharaj, think of them all as the characters in a drama. They're playing a role. Just purely this way, they're playing a role. The role is, or they're all playing. Let's step back. I have multiple ideas. The indication of a pure devotee is that he or she is a perfect instrument in manifesting the Lord's desire. Where Krishna says, Nimitta Bhava Sabyasachi in 1155. You be an instrument, just Nimitta. It's already been decided that this war is being done. All the Kauravas have been defeated. Yudhishthira Maharaj is crowned as the king. It's already decided. All you have to do is play the role of an instrument. So in one sense, the Lord Ramachandra has already decided, I'm going to the forest and I will meet Ravana there. All of you are just playing the roles of being instruments. Now, while they're playing the role of instrument, there is all the other levels of truths that are operating from a rasa perspective, from a dharma perspective, from karma perspective, lessons for all of us. Multiple things are happening. And Dasaratha Maharaj seems as if he's, a helpless toy in the hands of Kaikeyi. It's not impurity. He has a love for Kaikeyi. If he didn't show love for Kaikeyi, then someone will say, oh, he was not a loving husband. He was very loving. In fact, so loving that he became overpowered by that love in a material sort of way. Because it's happening at this level. Right? We don't like to compare devotees, but I'm going to give a sort of insight into it. Mother Sachi, who is so exalted, had ill feelings towards Advaita Acharya. Of course, out of her love for Nimai, but she had ill feelings. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, that's not okay. That doesn't make Mother Sachi less than a pure devotee, or some mixed into it. It's not like that, right? Or take Akrura. Akrura is considered the Acharya in prayers, Vandanam. That Akrura did something very, very, I guess, unimaginable in the plot to kill Satrajit. That doesn't make Akrura a less of a pure devotee per se. These are all ways and means by which the different instruments are being used. And we see that from a worldly perspective, there is some reaction for it in terms of it. Parikshit Maharaj putting a dead snake around Shamika Rishi's neck. Etc., etc., etc. So it doesn't make them any less of pure devotees. In fact, they're considered amazing that they're all so wonderfully instrumental in the Lord's Sankalpa.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. That really, changes my conceptions of what we mean by pure devotee. Thank you.
Correct. And even if there is a flaw, apichet sudurachara bhajate ma mananya bhaka sadhureva samantavya. Krishna sort of already covered that space in case, that if there is something still. I mean, imagine the kind of love Dasaratha Maharaj had for Ramachandra. I don't know if I can imagine. It's unimaginable. That if he can't see Ramachandra for a second, he feels that his life airs are going to go away. Okay, someone else?
Prabhu, there is
Hare
one
Krishna,
question. Prabhu, there is one question from Gaur Sundar, Prabhu. It's written there. You want me to read? I will read.
I can't see anything. I specifically said, please don't text because I cannot read text.
Okay, and he specifically can't speak, I think, Prabhu. So I'm just reading it. I don't know. So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Dharma aviruddho kamosmi. The lust Dasaratha had seems to be violating. Please explain.
I just did. I just explained to Shamakund a few minutes ago. Dharma aviruddha kamosmi. In approaching Kaikeyi, there is no viruddha for dharma. Karthik, you had a question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. So, in many occurrences, you have talked about Chiranjeevis, and they have been given the power to live forever. So
Not
my
forever,
question was
for a very long time. Chira means
for a
long.
very. Oh, okay. Oh, I thought forever. So for a very long time. So why did Krishna design such divine people like Chiranjeevis to be among us? And yesterday in the Krishna talk session, you spoke about the 7 worlds above and below the Bhuloka. So totally 15 odd worlds. So can the Chiranjeevis travel from one world to another?
The second one is easier. The answer is yes. There are 14 planetary systems, and they have the ability to what's called interdimensional or transdimensional travel. They can. Second, or the first question, why does Krishna have Chiranjeevis? Because those that are there, that have long lifespans and go beyond from one age to another age, carry with them the wisdom. And that is why in our contemporary example or setting, we show respect to people who are older because they have seen life in a way that we haven't yet seen. And we are supposed to gather pearls of wisdom from them because of their experience. So we are seeing Kali Yuga for the first time, the first 5,000 years. These Chiranjeevis have seen many Kali Yugas come and go. So their wisdom is important for us to be able to manage and deal with Kali Yuga, for example. Plus, there is continuity. When we are reading something that such and such thing happened, let's say, without Chiranjeevas being there, who's to say whether those things are actually written or not written? Somebody can say, oh, this is all a figment of someone's imagination. But the Chiranjeevis will testify, no, this is how history happened.
That's really thoughtful, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that.
Okay, final question.
Hey, Krishna Prabhu. Sorry, it's too late. Just quick question, Prabhu. If I heard it correctly.
Can you come closer to the microphone?
Yes, Prabhu. So, Dasaratha Maharaj, as I heard correctly, if I heard correctly, Prabhu, he also said that I will punish a non-guilty person also if you say. Is that
Right.
correct?
Correct.
Our dharmic statement he is making?
Are these dharmic statements?
Not a dharmic statement that he is making.
No, it's not adharmic, because as the king, he has the jurisdiction to act so if necessary. He may not do it, but he's appeasing his wife. See, he has not acted on it, but he's so far close to that thing to please his wife. He's saying, I can do anything. I have the freedom given to do anything I can, and I can exercise it. Not that he might or whatever. The point is, he can. Generally, they don't.
My confusion is like a materialistic person might take it very in a wrong way. So
Yeah, sure. So a materialistic person takes Krishna's Rasa Leela also in the wrong way. A materialistic person takes Krishna's asking Arjuna to fight in the war also in a wrong way. It becomes our duty as Vaishnavas to understand these messages in the proper way, in the proper context, and dispel those misgivings.
but Prabhu, people say that if God and the people at this level can talk like this, I mean, it's just stretching the discussion. I understand what you're saying.
Please understand, the Ramayana or Bhagavad Gita or Mahabharata are applicable to every person. So, ye yatha mam prapadyante verse means with whatever disposition they approach the Supreme Lord, in that way he reciprocates. So if they approach already with such twisted or not proper conception, then that's what they will get out of it. How many people will tell you that Bhagavad Gita is a book of war? It was God said, fight it. So everybody, anybody and everybody can approach these scriptures and extract whatever meanings that come out for them. That's what's been going on. So everybody is, I guess, in some way satisfied or satiated by the messages, but they may misuse it. That all the more calls for the importance of parampara. Let's take for a moment the consideration that Dasaratha Maharaj is being very adharmic. Just consider it for a moment. Even in that case, the lessons are very amazing. That simply to satisfy his lustful feelings and to appease his wife, he has put the entire kingdom at risk. That was Shamakund's original question. And the answer is that's true. Even if you take from that perspective, it shows, oh my gosh, how one should not be. Yet, again and again and again, Lord Ramachandra calls Dasaratha Maharaj as Dharmagya, Dharmagya. That means somewhere he knows and he's tread the path of Dharma. So it's a careful, very fine line that he's walking.
Yeah, I really appreciate Prabhu. Thank you for reading so deeply. Otherwise, I'm also one of those who could get easily confused and bewildered. So thank you very, very much.
Something I heard from many years ago that helped is if any one of us drives in the middle of the road in a Vedic paradigm, if you are in the middle of the road, then the path is clear. If we go off the middle of the road towards the boundary, then one has to live a life full of compromises. Okay, so Dasaratha Maharaj hasn't broken dharma, but he's so much near the boundary that from there everything is compromised. He's showing us to live a life right in the middle of the road. And what Krishna is challenging, or Lord Ramachandra is challenging us, is made promises. And that promise is now going to come to bite him and puts his love for the Lord and his love for Kaikeyi and the promises all at conflict with each other.
Okay. Yeah.
Same, Arjuna also, Vishada, so difficult. On one hand, all family. On the one hand, dharma. He has to be able to meet both challenges.
Yeah. Right.
All right. I've gone way further than I thought, but sorry. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I just want to say one thing. Our usual time is till 11 something, 11:15. If after that some people want to log off because life has to move on, I totally understand. Sometimes these topics are such that I try to finish on time, but unfortunately it goes a little further than I thought. So sorry about it, but you feel free to log off if you need to. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I will not be offended at all. The fact that you even take the time to attend, I am extremely, extremely grateful to you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.